Plan ahead. Plan ahead. Without planning, then again, you've got that putting out fires method of task management, which is rarely a good thing. It adds so much stress and anxiety into our lives that if you plan ahead, this is, I think, the number one thing that my clients come away with is an excellent ability to plan and know what's going to be happening next and execute on those plans and intentions.
The following is brought to you by Thryv, the end-to-end client experience platform that helps you get the job, manage the job, and get credit.
Hey, this is Gordon Henry at Winning on Main Street. If you've ever felt you need to do a better job of maximizing your time or becoming more productive or getting rid of the clutter in your life or focusing on the things that really matter, and who of us hasn't thought about some of these some of the time, then meet today's guest, Juli Shulem. Juli is a productivity coach and organizing expert who focuses on helping small businesses and entrepreneurs improve their productivity. She focuses on productivity, time management, organization, efficiency, prioritizing, decision-making, workflow management, impulse control, and day-to-day challenges. Her specialty is coaching and training managers, owners of small or medium-sized businesses, and solopreneurs who want to reach a greater level of success. She knows that organizing clear communicators make great leaders. She also coaches solopreneurs, helping them handle staff problems and navigate difficult business complications. She helps them get more organized with all aspects of their business. So what should listeners get out of this episode? You know, every entrepreneur or small business owner knows it's lonely out there sometimes. You get distracted, you get overwhelmed, you feel unproductive. You're constantly thinking, what should I be spending my time on? Well, perhaps you need a coach. Somebody who can help you confront these challenges, structure your day. Coach Juli has confronted and overcome many problems with clients many times before. Maybe she can help you. So Juli, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much, Gordon. It's great to be here.
Excited to have you here. And so you're known as Coach Juli. Why don't you just tell us about your background and what got you into business coaching?
Thank you for asking. Well, I've been actually an entrepreneur and solopreneur my entire adult life. So this is kind of my happy place. And I started my career as a professional organizer, like long before the National Association even existed, honestly. And I used to go in and work with medical and dental offices and help them be more productive and get more organized. And this is before technology, so long time ago. Anyway, I started doing that. I was speaking in various companies and associations and helping people to be more productive, get more done, be better organized. And then about 21 years ago or so, every single one of my clients started saying, hey, I have a lot of challenges with really getting a lot done. And can you help me? I actually have ADHD too. Have you heard of that? And I said, yes, I did. I knew a lot about it. And in the course of 1 year, every single one of my clients said, I have ADHD. I need help here. Okay, so this then became my next area of expertise. I worked very hard at learning everything I could, and I eventually became an expert in that arena. And that ended up launching the whole coaching option because I realized I could help so many more people by coaching when we had the opportunity of having a platform virtual. And this was long before COVID. So I've been doing the whole virtual thing, working on Skype, of course, first, and now Zoom, before this was very fashionable and necessary. And it allowed me to help so many more people. And the coaching grew. And I got certified and did, jump through all the hoops, of course, to be a professional certified coach. And then I went back to school again, actually, in last decade, and got my master's in industrial organizational psychology.
Who would you say are your typical clients?
Typical client is a solopreneur and entrepreneur that has maybe been in business already for a while, but they've maybe hit a roadblock, or they are in a growth spurt and they want to be able to do more better.
Okay. So let's say I'm one of those people you just described. I call you, maybe I hear Gordon's podcast. I call you, I like you, we talk, and I want to hire you. What happens next? What's the process like?
It's super simple. First of all, I'm very much an in-person, talk to you kind of a person. So I want to really get a chance to know you and make sure that we're a good fit. So first thing, most people reach me by email. So they send me email, hey, I'm interested in talking to you about potentially having you coach me. And then I will schedule a consultation. There's no charge for this, of course. And we find out, if we're a good fit. And if I feel that I can really have an impact, I'm not going to take on someone that I don't feel I can really have great results with.
Give me some sense of the cost of this. Do you bill by the hour, by the project? Because, people listening may be wondering, is this something I can afford?
Absolutely. So I work on a 10-week contract series, if you will, and it roughly runs around $400 or so a session. So that I'm kind of, I think, in the middle of the coaching range.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay.
Okay. I try to keep it really affordable. Again, I'm working with solopreneurs, so
yeah,
it's not like, there's Google.
right. Not corporate.
Millions of dollars behind them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can you tell us one or two success stories of a real business or solopreneur you feel like you helped?
Yes. Oh, this is my favorite part. So, there's so many. All right, I'll tell you about this one gentleman I've been working with, and he came to me, not really doing on the deliverables as well as he should. And we worked on his focusing ability and also on his scheduling, prioritizing, and really using his time to the best use of his ability. And because that was not happening. So what we did, I helped him to structure his day better and his week better, taught him how to use his systems, his technology. And from there, he started seeing where his time was being spent and where it wasn't being spent. And from there, he was able to shift and started changing how he planned his time. Well, let's just say this, he started to plan his time, which many people do not do consistently or at all. And once we get that into place, it's been amazing. So he's actually increased his billable hours by such an amazing amount. He can't even believe the transformation, nor can the company he works for. So that's been amazing. Another person, so I've had a few people come to me when they are told that they have just a few more months left. They're on a PIP, an improvement plan, and they're going to lose their job. So I've got this other gentleman, great guy, really awesome, really great at what he does, but just was not meeting expectations. And we flipped everything around again, taught him how to plan better, how to use his technology, how to manage his tasks, all of these skills. And he's also exponentially improved his situation. And I haven't lost someone on a PIP yet. So I want to keep working on that, make sure people are thriving.
That's very interesting and very helpful. My own company, Thryv, we went virtual during the pandemic. We decided to stay virtual, and it's been really a godsend in many ways. We really have seen actually productivity lifts and general quality of life improvements, I would say, for many people, less time commuting, more time with your family, exercise, whatever it is you choose to do in your off time. But I do imagine in the world of virtual work, there are some people who suddenly have productivity challenges because they don't have a boss standing over their shoulder. Is that a problem you confront or deal with, and how?
Yes, it does. It does often come up. mostly in the verbiage that is used is, I'm very distracted by everything in my world. It's
Mhm.
house of a million distractions is how it's often viewed. And that is an issue that has to be addressed, because when you're in your home, and that's where you're working. If you don't have a designated space where you can close the door and not see the rest of your house, it's very tempting to just, oh, let me go and do this chore or take care of this. Or, oh, I'm going to sit down in the living room and read a magazine, or, yeah,
Yep.
no, this is your work day. If you wouldn't do that during the work day in an office, you shouldn't do that at home either.
Right.
There are obviously some advantages as well when you are at home, and when you do take an actual break. Yeah, you can go and make that phone call or do something that would fit in the personal realm, whereas you wouldn't be able to do it obviously in an office. So you can, there's a way of balancing that out and making it work for you and not take you away from your job. But I practice what I preach, and I do tell people, when I'm in my office, which I'm in my office not now, this background, of course, is not my office, but when I'm in my office, I'm at work. When I'm at my desk, I do work-related tasks, period. When I want to do something that's not work-related, I leave my office. I go out the door and I shut the door, and now I'm home. So I have that really clear boundary. And that's what I help my clients to achieve, is create those boundaries and those non-negotiable scenarios. Like, nope, you're home, you're at home, your work, do your job.
Now, you mentioned the word systems along the way there, and I really find that to be an interesting, description of how you create productivity. When you talk about systems, what do you mean?
So I set up systems for my clients to solve whatever problems they are having. Now, generally, that's task management. I'd say almost every single person across the board that I work with is not getting things done as they should. So we create systems that are going to work best for them. Often we are using technology. So if they are tech savvy, that's great. If they're not, I'll help them get there so that they can use the options that they have available to themselves. This is super important because we're in a world where technology is kind of necessary, and you need to be able to use the tools that you have available to the best of your ability. And it doesn't mean you have to use every single thing out there, of course, but those things that would make your life easier, you want to be able to have those in place and know how to use them, and also know how to delegate to others. Should you not be able to, or do a particular task, or it's not the best use of your time. And many times that's the situation. But creating systems, creating schedules, creating ways to use your calendar, a task management system, for example, and integrate everything so that your business doesn't become the challenge. You get to help the people you help do your job even better, because you're not bogged down by not having a method of getting things done.
Yeah, 100%. We were talking before we got on the show about systems and technology, and our company Thryv makes a CRM system, a customer relationship management system, and the goal of it is to automate a lot of the manual tasks that take over the day of so many of us. Putting information into spreadsheets about who your customers are, or sending them an email reminder that you're coming out on Tuesday at 2:00 to fix the washing machine, or setting up a quarterly reminder so that they come in for the car, inspection.
Right.
All those kinds of tasks, communicating, can take up so much time if you don't have an automated way to do it.
Yes. And those kinds of systems are exactly what I help my clients to implement, or at least be aware of. sometimes it's just lack of awareness. It's like, did you know that you could do this? And then you won't have to worry about those 12 things on your task list. You push a
100%.
button and it happens. Absolutely.
Right. Now, I want to come back to the ADHD comment. So you told us what it is. When clients come to you with this, issue, this problem, how do you help them?
So firstly, I'm usually getting a call from someone who has kind of hit the bottom in many regards. Like, okay, I'm stuck. This is not working. This has been a challenge. I just got diagnosed. That's another one that I hear often. I have people actually who come to me and say, I don't have a diagnosis, but I suspect I have that. And that's fine. You don't, obviously. I work with a plethora of individuals without ADHD, but because it's a specialty, I can work with people who are really stuck and having challenges with focusing, not being distracted, and using their executive functioning skills. So I first find out really where are the gaps, where are the problems, where are we stuck? And then we put in systems that will work for the way that they think and the way that their brain chemistry is wired, and help them to move forward on the things that they wish. So this has been something I've been doing for so long. I can pretty much guess at what might be going on, but we do quite a bit of discovery and find out where the problems or challenges. I don't like to actually call them problems because problems can't always be overcome, but challenges, yes, we can overcome them.
So is the challenge that the ADHD person faces different than the challenge that the non-ADHD person faces, who just finds themselves distracted or bogged down, or is it similar, or is it something unique to the ADHD?
No, it is something unique. It is a chemical difference in the brain, and it has to do with the neurotransmitters. And there are ways that I help my clients to learn how to improve the functioning of their brain, actually, so that they are not at a disadvantage, if you will, by that. And many of the techniques that work for someone with ADHD work really, really well for the rest of us as well also. So whether you have a neurotypical or non-neurotypical brain, everything can help. But those with ADHD might have a few more hurdles to jump over in order to make everything happen.
I want to ask you about my own productivity issue. So as I was getting rid of it, I was thinking I have productivity issues too. And probably like a lot of people, I have, the meetings people schedule for me, they just show up on your Outlook calendar and like, oh, I got all these, meetings to go to, in a bigger company. Then I have my own sort of short-term hot issues. I'm writing something, I got to submit something, I have an email to write, I have paper to do, whatever, PowerPoint slide. So I have those sort of short-term hot issues. And then I have these longer-term projects, that are sort of these big things that I want to work on that I never seem to really find the time for. So, you got different things you're juggling there. What's a way to think about how to keep them all in balance so you can do them all?
Oh, that's such a great question. And I have the same things that I have to contend with. Appointments on my calendar, and big projects, and then tasks. So first thing, I break up my week based on how each day is going to play out. So for example, I am client facing on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. 9 times out of 10, there will be nothing else on my calendar except client sessions. Period. I'm in that zone. This is where, I'm fully engaged in that. And that's where it works best for me. And this is over years of fussing with the various days and what works best. I don't like we're having Monday client sessions because there's so many holidays on Mondays. And then everyone says, oh, I'm not going to be open around on Monday. So I move everything around. Like, I'm tired of that. So right. Monday is not a day I do that. Same thing with Fridays. People go on vacations early. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, Mondays and Fridays are the days for all other kinds of meetings and appointments, consultations and such. So that's where I break my week up based on how I want it to be available. And my availability is set accordingly. So no one can just pick a meeting on a Wednesday for me. iShow is not available. So I keep very clear, again, this is setting up boundaries and having a really good system in place. The other is with regard to getting tasks done. Those should be managed. And this is something I do a whole workshop on this alone, is how to get your tasks done and how to get a project done, which I find so many people, just like you said, Gordon, where I got this big project and it's been on my list and I keep pushing it down and kicking the can over and over and over and over, and it's never getting done. And my first question is, have you broken down that project into tasks, or is it just listed as Project XYZ? Just listed as Project XYZ, you're going to keep kicking the can for a very long time because you haven't broken it down into bite-sized pieces. It has to be doable steps. And I teach a whole workshop on that as well.
Doable steps. Yeah.
Doable steps.
Yeah, very interesting.
And then you schedule them. There's a whole process.
It's not exactly that point, but it brings to mind, there's this video online, you've probably seen it. It's this admiral from, I think it was a Navy SEAL. Yep. And it's the make your bed speech.
Yep.
And he's speaking to the University of Texas, and he's going through like 10 tips for life, basically. And his first one is make your bed, because he goes through all the reasons you should make your bed, but self-satisfaction, if you can get the little things done, then you can get the big things done. If you have a bad day and come back to a made bed that you made, that's a nice thing. So there's a whole bunch of reasons. I thought that was a very interesting, like, who would ever think that would be a reason your life would be better? But he starts with that one. Yeah.
And I actually I send that same video. I know that video. I've sent that to many, many people. And there's actually research that I call upon often that states similarly that when you get something done, you get one thing done, it actually gives you the motivation and spurs you on to do the next thing, to do something else. So just get something done. And that's where the whole make your bed concept
little bit of pride in accomplishing something.
You have some confidence, you have some, you've checked something off the list, you feel accomplished. Gee, I made my bed this morning. Go.
Gosh darn it. We have to take a quick break, 30-second break, to your word from our sponsor. We will be back with more from Juli Shulem. Don't go away.
This episode of Winning on Main Street is brought to you by Thryv, the small business management platform that you and your customers will love, no matter where you are. Thryv helps you run your business, keep organized, and get paid faster, all from one login and dashboard. Thryv makes it easy for customers to find you online, instantly interact, and stay engaged. And with free unlimited support 24/7, there really is no comparison. Go to thryv.com/pod for a quick demo to see everything Thryv can do.
And we're back with Juli Shulem, the productivity expert, all sorts of interesting tips and ideas about how you can be more productive. Juli, the one productivity thing that always stuck with me from what I've read over the years is the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People has this little 2x2 box of what is important and what is urgent. And, you have a box of important but not urgent, important and urgent, and unimportant, and, the 4 boxes. Yeah. And I always thought that was a great way to think about what you have to do, because I think most of us get caught up in urgent but not important. Right? I have an email, I must answer somebody, but it's, this will be gone to, here today, gone tomorrow. It's not like important, you just got to kind of deal with it. Right? And I think I'm asking really, it seems like most of us get caught up, especially in this world of email, where it's just like, hey, I got an inbox, I got 43 things I got to answer today. I answered the 43, I go home. Did I really accomplish anything? So how do you kind of deal with that? And again, spend more time on the important but not urgent things, which are the long-term needle movers?
Exactly. It's such a good question. And I'm glad you said something about it. this is what I refer to when my clients are, this is what happens so often. I had a client one time who said, yeah, I'm busy like all day long and I don't feel like I did anything. And what a lot of people do is they go for the quick, fun, easy tasks because they feel like, oh, look, I get to check off all these things, but they're not the highest priority. So one of the things I do straight up, very similar to the urgent, non-urgent kind of situation, is I help people to prioritize properly. Because if you are looking at your list, and I'll give you my little secret sauce here. So what I have people do is you look at your list and you ask yourself the following question. If nothing else gets done today but one thing, which must it be? That's number one. That's the task. That's where you put your time. If you get that one task done and really nothing else gets done, you will feel fabulous because you got the most important task accomplished. Even if you did all the other ones and didn't do the first one, it's marginal as to how you're going to feel because that first one is so important. And honestly, it's usually the icky one. It's the one that we don't want to do. It's the one that has some negative feeling about it for some reason, or it's just really time consuming and we don't want to block all that time for it. Again, break it down. So that's really where what it comes down to is prioritizing and making sure that you're putting your focus on the one thing that has to be done that day, and the rest is that's icing on the cake. But you gotta eat cake.
Love that. I know you work with a lot of solopreneurs. Aside from just the productivity issues, and I don't know if this is something you deal with or not, but you sort of referenced at the beginning of the show. So if you're alone in your business, it's lonely, right? It's lonely. If you work in a big company, there's all sorts of people to talk to and bounce ideas off of. Maybe you have a team. If you're a solopreneur, it's like you're constantly pushing that rock up the hill by yourself. Is that something you deal with, help people with?
Yes. And I have solved that for myself. Obviously, I'm the same. I'm in that boat, that solo boat rowing around. But what I do is, and I help people to do the same thing. There's always some kind of an association or organization that you can be part of that speaks to your field of expertise. So I'm involved with the coaching organizations that are local as well as international. So I get to hang out with my colleagues, and we have regular meetings and events. I also am involved in various networking groups, which are more like mastermind groups. So these are people that are not in my field necessarily, but we are all very collaborative, and we're all entrepreneurs or solopreneurs or individual contributors within a larger company. So maybe a sales rep for a big, insurance agency or something. So, but we're all kind of in the similar situation. So yeah, collaborating, getting to know people. So I network a lot just to have those people around where I could say, hey, how do you solve this issue? Or what do you use for this? And that's how we all learn. So I don't feel lonely. I'm alone, but I don't feel lonely. I got so many people to talk to on a daily basis. It's not an issue anymore.
Makes sense. We're just about out of time. I'd like to end this way. Can you give me, if people who are listening get one tip out of this discussion today, one tip that they can use today to improve their productivity, what would that tip be?
Plan ahead. Without planning, then again, you've got that doing the putting out fires method of task management, which is rarely a good thing. It adds so much stress and anxiety into our lives that if you plan ahead, this is, I think, the number one thing that my clients come away with is an excellent ability to plan and know what's going to be happening next and execute on those plans and intentions.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, that's a great way to finish up. But I am not quite finished. I want to ask, where can people find you? What's the best way to locate you and learn more? Should they call you, email you, text you? What's the best way to get in touch?
All of the above. It's super easy to find. Put my name in a search bar and I will come up. I'm the only one with my name spelled as it is. That you can reach me at my email address is balance@coachjuli.com, and Juli is spelled Juli. There's no E at the end. My website is coachjuli.com. I'm on the most popular platforms, so you can find me there. Find me on LinkedIn. That would be amazing. And let me know that you heard me on this show, and we'll definitely connect. So yeah, it's pretty easy to reach me.
Terrific. Well, again, it's Juli Shulem, and that is JuliShulem, right? Coach Juli. And I hope people will look you up, because it's, I think, a valuable service that a lot of our listeners and entrepreneurs and business owners can use.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me on the show, Gordon.
So I want to thank Juli, and I want to also thank our producer, Tim Alleman, our coordinators, Diet Barnett and Daniel Huddleston. They do a great job. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please tell your colleagues, friends, and family to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us in the rankings. Small business runs better on Thryv. Get a free demo at thryv.com/pod. That's thryv.com/pod. Until next time, make it a great week.